What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good, fans? Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Voice of the Fans podcast. Want to give yourself a round of applause. This is the Sunday special. On this show, we break a little rules, Cleavon. Welcome to the show, first of all, Cleavon. I see you fresh. Show the people what's the shirt say you got on.
Oh no, this is just Seattle certified.
Seattle, sir. Okay, dope.
One of the local 206 brands.
I see you got the Mariners, the fresh Mariners cap on.
Yes.
Congratulations to the Mariners. What, 4 games in a row?
Oh, Cam, I believe it's like 10 of their last 12, 11 of their last 13, something ridiculous like that. They're currently winning their game against the Houston Astros 4-0. You know, they're just doing their thing.
Oh, they come around 125 games for them to get warmed up, huh?
Sure. Whatever it takes.
Okay. Well, like I said, thank you, fans, for joining the podcast. Let's give Cleavon a round of applause for joining the podcast. Got his microphone right this week. A couple of weeks ago, I don't know what the deal was. A couple of weeks ago, it wasn't right. But thank you guys for joining in the show. As you know, guys, we break the rules on this show. We have certain things we do on the full episode. We started off, obviously, with the introduction. We have our numbers game, this week in history, and then we all often end it with a quote. And then we have certain rules on the show, which the Seattle Mariners haven't been a big part of that conversation. Why, Cleveland?
Well, Cam, our rule is we don't talk about teams that are less than average. So you have to be at least 500 to have any conversation whatsoever from a baseball perspective. That's one of those hard and fast rules of the Voice of the Fans show.
But like I said, we break the rules on this episode of the show, fans. So I got a question for you. If you guys would please chime in, hit us up on Twitter @_Voice of the Fans. Hit us up at Twitter X. Twitter X. What do you call it, Cleveland, nowadays?
I don't know what the new the official name of it is. It's still just Twitter to me.
Yeah, X Twitter X, kind of like changing the Staples Center to
the
crypto.
House.
Well, I mean, I'd say the same for Lumen Field, which was Safeco Stadium. Or Safeco Stadium is now T-Mobile.
No, it was CenturyLink. It was the Clink before. Now it's
the Clink.
Field.
But it was the Clink after it was what? What was it? That wasn't the first name for it, was it?
Yeah. Yeah, the baseball diamond was Safeco Field, and it's now T-Mobile Park.
But CenturyLink wasn't the first name. Was it when it was built? It was the first called CenturyLink. I thought that building's been through a few names itself.
I think just the two, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think you're wrong. I might have to go do some research and update you, fans. But nonetheless, fans, I'd like to know which of these stat lines you would prefer from any baseball player. And again, keep in mind that we are 125 games into the season. This is 2/3 of the season, right? Cleveland is done. I mean, or do you want to say it's essentially over? How do you categorize 125 games out of a 160 game season? What would you say? Is this 80% done?
Cam, I believe that the math works out to 3/4.
Oh, 3/4 of the way done. Even 3/4 of the way done. So, fans, would you rather have a batter hitting 308, leading the American League in home runs, 89 RBIs, 94 runs? Or would you rather have some dude hitting 274, 21 home runs? That's less than half the home runs, 79 RBIs, 73 runs. What would you rather have, Cleveland? You tell me.
Well, Cam, I guess I would have to put those stats in their proper context. I mean, if those stats, led to a team being, 12, 13 games over 500, I would take the player that had those stats.
Cleveland, you're lying. Cleveland. Let's add in. I didn't tell the full truth here, fans. I didn't tell the full truth. One of these players, the player hitting 308, leading the league in home runs, have 84 RBIs and 94 runs. One of these players also had the 3.1 ERA, Cleveland. Can I interest you in that? Have 130 innings pitched. Can I interest you in that? Cleveland has 165 Ks. Can I interest you in that? While hitting over 300 at the plate. Can I interest you in that, sir?
Cam, again, it depends on how that translates into wins and losses and the overall accomplishment of the team. Baseball is a team game.
Baseball is not a team game. You know that. Baseball is the most individualistic sport that masquerades as a team game. Am I incorrect?
Basketball is the most individualistic sport that masks as a team game. Not baseball.
How is that?
Well, for example, Cam, a player only gets up one every 9 times, so their ability to affect the game in a positive way is somewhat hindered.
Oh, so it's not a team game because you just thank you, Cleveland. Thank you, Cleveland, for clarifying that fact for us and just ruining your own argument.
For that respect, because an individual player cannot dominate, a baseball game in the same way that a basketball player can.
So even if he has a 3.1 ERA, even if he has 130 inning pitch, even if he has 165 strikes, you're saying this one single player cannot dominate. Thank you for making my point. The argument's over. The argument's over. When you want to say you'll take one player who has lesser stats, but his team is doing better, that's a false narrative because that player has nothing to do with it. Doesn't have the full encompassing of what he can control the team. Am I right or wrong, Cleveland?
You're wrong, Cameron. It depends on when those plays are. Cam, baseball is filled with hollow stats. You know what I'm saying? It's filled with them. Just because you hit a whole bunch of home runs, you might have hit a whole bunch of home runs in the beginning of the season when the rest of the teams weren't, waking up. You might have played 16 games against the Oakland A's. You never know what those stats really mean. And until it translates into wins and losses, it really doesn't mean anything.
You guys hear this guy. You guys hear this guy. All of a sudden, the Mariners are a better team than what Shohei Ohtani is doing down there with the California Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. All of a sudden, Cleveland would take these mediocre stats by anyone's measure. Mediocre stats at 275. Mediocre. 21 home runs in how many games is the season, Cleveland? 125 games? This dude there's over 100 games he hasn't hit a homer. Over 100 games he hasn't hit a homer. And you're accepting this? You're accepting this?
Yeah, I've seen. I think I know the player that you're alluding to. I've seen the results on the field. So.
What results? The guy's hitting 275 3/4 of the way into the season.
Okay.
What results are we talking about?
I believe his team is 12, 13 games over 500. He's done something that historically no one has done since 1900 recently. So, yeah, he's been on quite the tear.
He got on a hot streak the last 4 games. What was the stats before these 4 games? He was in the 250s.
Well, Cam, don't stat me to death, man. Just tell me who's in the wild card right now. Just tell me that.
That's his favorite line, fans. Don't stat me to death. But he just said baseball is a team sport, but he doesn't want to hear stats. Cleveland, did you see the players I'm talking about, fans? If you guys didn't pick up on it, we're talking about Julio, not Francisco Rodriguez, is the one hitting 274, 21 home runs, 79 RBIs, 73 runs. He's on a historical pace. I did see since 1900s, nobody has hit 17 has 17 runs in
17 hits in 4 games, Cam. That's
17
correct.
hits in 4 games. Impressive. Where's he been 70% of the rest of the season, though, Cleveland?
Around in the shape.
That's a fair question. That's a fair question, isn't it?
Sure, he's been rounding into shape, preparing for this moment.
Rounding into shape. Mm-hmm. It took the kids 120 games to round into shape. Is this what you're telling me?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious. And the other guy, obviously, who we're talking about is the American League favorite, American League favorite to win the MVP, Shohei Ohtani, who's hitting 343 home runs. I think to still lead the league in home runs. Has 89 RBIs, 94 runs, Cleveland. And again, 165 Ks, Cleveland. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. And you're going to tell me 165 Ks, 3.1 ERA. You're going to tell me those are hollow stats, right? That's what you're going to tell me?
Well, Cam, unlike yourself, I don't bend the rules of the show just to acquiesce my own personal agenda. I don't talk about teams or players that play on teams that are less than average.
I asked you a question though. That I don't know what you got into my agenda of the show. I'm running the show. I got the board over here, buddy. I got the board over here, buddy.
Right. And so you can pontificate about the greatness of Shotani all you like. I'm just saying I don't request that because I understand the rules. But
I just asked a question though. I asked you a question. I just asked you a question. 165 Ks and 3.17 ERA. You going to tell me those are hollow stats, right?
I mean, that's cool. Sounds like when he's playing the A's and the White Sox, he does quite well. I haven't really delved into the numbers that tough, but seems to be doing all right.
Fans, you guys clearly see who's biased here, right? You guys clearly see who wants to talk about who doesn't. Did you watch the UFC 292 last night? Did you catch any of that?
I did not. I thought it was kind of the smaller weights. I typically don't watch the smaller weight guys when they're the headliners.
O'Malley versus Sterling. I thought it was an early stoppage. It was just Sterling I wanted to see because they've been propping this guy up. I know he got a win in the last fight, and they kind of really bolstered it up. But the last fight was 2 months ago. Like it literally was 2 months ago that he was in a big time fight. Aljamain Sterling. O'Malley ran into the ring after the fight, and then they hyped it up, talking a bunch of crap. So it was a real quick turnaround. Number one. Number two, he got caught coming in, and then he got caught coming in with the right hand that dropped him. And then I thought it was an early stoppage. I thought it for a UFC, which usually they go until somebody's eyes hanging out, or you see a leg snapping in half.
You usually get two bludgeons, and then okay, after the two bludgeons, we'll stop it.
It was kind of he did drop him. He did drop him with a right, and then the guy O'Malley dropped Sterling with a good right hand. It was a good right hand, dropped him. But he wasn't out. He caught him off balance, kind of caught him coming in. He dropped him, and then went to the ground and pound, but really couldn't get another good couple whacks in there. He couldn't get the couple good whacks. You saw it coming, but he never got those couple good whacks in there. And then the ref, I think, stopped it early. So I mean, it was they had a competitive women's match before that. That actually went the distance. But I thought that for a UFC championship fight, bantamweight championship, if I remember correctly, it was an early stoppage. You didn't see both men walked out of the ring healthy and smiling. And that tells you it wasn't a quality stoppage, because in UFC, usually the doctors are involved. Their trainers are involved, and somebody is carrying him out the ring with arm over his shoulder or something like that. It was an early stoppage, I thought. UFC, I mean, NFL preseason, Cleveland, you guys has convinced me the NFL preseasons mean nothing. You and Eric, again, so not only I've been kind of busy, but I haven't been able to catch up on any NFL preseason games. I did see the Seahawks was walloped the Cowboys, but what does that mean? Cowboys, though, got good running back 2 games in a row. He got a touchdown, the little dude, the coach's son, I guess. Looks like he's going to get some carries this season. Not only do they need him, they're going to need somebody to spell Pollard. Pollard can't – I don't think Pollard's a full-time carry-the-back kind of low player. But this little dude's going to get some run. What did you see? Did you watch that game last night?
I did watch most of that game. Deuce Vaughn is doing his thing, man. He's loose. He's small. He's elusive. He's stronger than you would expect. And, against those third stringers that may not be on the team, he certainly did his thing.
Kind of what's the little guy, number 43, Darren Sproles kind of look like, right?
Oh boy, I think he's a little bit bigger than Darren Sproles, but yeah.
Well,
I mean,
I
understand your comparison, but I don't think he's like 5'5" small. I don't think he's that small.
Okay. And Charbonnet, I did see Charbonnet have a good run again against some third or fourth stringers.
That was actually early in the game, Cam. That was actually early. I see where you were trying to go with that.
Oh well, now you're going to give the preseason some credence. So now you're going to give the preseason some credence, huh?
I'm sorry.
So now you're going to give the preseason some credence, huh?
No, I'm just saying.
That's something that's worth looking forward to.
My argument against me, but I'm just saying that when Charbonnet had his devastating run, it was against the starters. That's all I'm saying.
Devastating run, Cleveland. The hole was as wide as a Mack truck could have went through that hole.
Why is that?
And he ended up running out of bounds.
Why is that?
And he ended up running out of bounds. At the end of the play, he ran out of bounds.
He showed his speed, his power. That's all.
What speed? What power? He ran out of bounds. He got the ball. If the hole was open like a Mack truck, and he ran out of bounds.
He ran through the hole. He knew where he was going, and it was there. The play was executed to perfection.
Drew Lock. I saw Drew Lock completed a pass to
Jackson Smith. Yeah, it was a nice throw.
I don't know.
I didn't know he had that in him. It was across his body, across the field. It was,
I mean, Drew Lock started in the NFL. Don't get it twisted now. Drew Lock's been a starter in this NFL.
Well, Cam, lots of people start in the NFL. I mean,
Well, no. We see your boy Trey Lance is still looking for a starting opportunity, and he comes in.
He's getting blackballed over there by John Lynch and them. That's not
blackball. The kid came in the third quarter and threw his first pass was an interception. What's the blackball?
He's pressing. He's trying to do too much too soon because he doesn't get very many opportunities to do so. I mean, hey man, we'll take
your first pass is an interception to a defensive lineman.
We'll take for a 7th round pick right up here. Sit right next to Geno and learn some things. I mean, if you just don't want him, I mean, we got a 7th for you.
I mean,
and we know how well you guys draft. You guys drafted your starting quarterback with the very last pick in the draft.
That might be the going rate for him actually. Cool. He comes in the third quarter. He comes in the third quarter, Cleveland, and his first pass is an interception to a defensive lineman. Like dog. Come on. Cleveland, I had a laugh. Poking around on Instagram yesterday, and I see Snoop Dogg talking about Pete Carroll. Pete, you put too much pressure on these on your team. It's preseason. You shouldn't be expecting so much out of your team, making them work so hard. Then they had the comedian I don't like, Will Ferrell. Pete, if you're doing too much, Pete, I'm gonna have to come out there and straighten you out if you're doing too much. And then they had Roger Goodell talking to Pete. Pete, you only know you got certain amount of practice hours. You can only do so much with your players, Pete. Meanwhile, Pete is dropping back and throwing dimes to his receivers in the end zone, in the corner of the end zone, over the middle. I'm sure you've seen this. I'm sure the Seahawks, and in Seattle, they played that to death up there during the preseason game. Did you see the Instagram clip I'm talking about?
I heard people reference it. I didn't actually see the clip, but Pete's got a cannon. He steps back there. You give him 3-4 seconds. He's going to put the ball where it needs to be.
Well, clearly nobody was rushing Pete to put any pressure on him. He's a head coach.
Yeah.
So they were running a 7-on-7 drill, which was pretty hysterical. But the Instagram, you got to check out the Seahawks put out the Instagram. It was pretty comical because all these guys talking about Pete just working his players too hard and doing too much. It was actually pretty comical. What other preseason? The Colts was on with the Bears, and nothing even to mention there. The Dolphins, Tua, first pass of the game, throws an interception, almost run back for a touchdown. He bounced back by throwing completing a wide open 5-yard out to Tyreek Hill. Like, Cleavon, we're 5 years in, dude. What are we 4 years in? Literally 4 years in, and it's still a guessing game with this dude. It's still a guessing game. Fans, if you follow the show, I was clear. Do not draft this guy. Do not draft Tua Tagovailoa. I was clear. In what are we 4 years? This is year 5, right, Cleavon? Am I right?
I believe so, yes.
This is year in a 6-week span. In the 5 years, he looked incredible. Incredible. He was on a pace, and this was last year, week 3 to week 10. Maybe not even 3 to 10 because he got hurt week 3. So maybe week 4 to 11, he was on an incredible pace. Outside of that, this guy's been a coin flip. He's been up and down, Cleavon. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I overstating this? Is my fandom getting too much of me? Help me out.
Well, Cam, you've always been a little heavy-handed on Tua Tagovailoa for whatever reason.
Heavy-handed?
You've been a little heavy-handed with him, yeah.
What? Because I expect the guy to win. I want a performer. I want the quarterback I draft with the 5th round to produce. I've been heavy-handed.
You've been heavy-handed. He's been going through some trials and tribulations over there. He's had numerous head coaches.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
He had a player in Minkah Fitzpatrick that was a culture killer, apparently, which is now why
Minkah was a culture killer.
which is now why he's over with Pittsburgh.
Killing the culture.
I guess a different culture. I guess a different culture over there. So
yeah, when they traded Minkah, and Cleavon is just trying to get me riled up, fans. He's just trying to get me riled up. And I will say this: when they traded Minkah, the quote unquote culture killer, his first 5 games with the Pittsburgh Steelers had 5 interceptions. And we're glad we got rid of the coach that traded him in Flores. Good. Now you go be assistant coach. You go coach the equipment, the water boys over there in Pittsburgh. You go. That's your job.
In addition, Tua's had some issues, with his health. Unfortunately, circumstances as they were.
Well, Cleavon, was this predictable? Was this predictable? I mean, who could have predicted the guy who broke a pinky, who broke his hip, who broke an ankle, would have injury issues in the NFL? Who could have predicted that? Oh, almost anybody who watches the NFL. Almost anybody who watches college football.
So Cam, from my perspective, I think the solution is to try and replicate what the Dolphins were able to do during that span of time that you were so high on, Mr. Tagovailoa, and try to expand that over, a 17-week season. Say I was high. Let's
celebrating.
Oh no. Oh yeah, I'm sure you burned that tape. But yeah, I
had a compliment. I had to give the guy credit.
You were walking around with the Tua jersey around town.
Goodness gracious!
Picking out which best Dolphin had to go with the fit. I mean, you were definitely on that. So don't act like you weren't. And then
I had to give the guy.
Then he gets a concussion.
I'm here in Alabama.
And then he gets a concussion, and you turn your back on. Once again,
turn my back
on. You're always very quick to turn your back on Tua. When Tua's lighting it up, oh man, look what he could do. He might be one of the best quarterbacks in the history during this span. You didn't say that. You didn't say that. Are you trying to tell me you didn't say that?
Cleavon,
did you?
I was giving the guy credit for being on a historical pace. Okay. Historical pace, like your guy. It took him 120 games to warm up, and he's been on. He actually set a record. That was actually a record, something that hasn't been done since when, Cleavon?
1900. Okay,
this guy was on pace. No record set. He was on historical pace. Okay. That lasted a span of 6 weeks of a 17-week season, Cleavon. There's more, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. I was trying to tell you earlier, convey to you earlier in the show, that there's a lot more season than these past 4 games that you're looking at. These guys set a record. There's a whole lot more season for you to look at than, in fact, by your own admission, it's 3/4 of the way into the season before he went on this torrid pace right here.
Okay.
So Tua was on a pace not even halfway through the season, a third of the season, he was on a hot pace. A third of the season. This is going into year 5, and you're throwing picks to a scrubby a team in preseason. Come on, man. We need to see more than that.
So at this point,
we need to have confidence. We need to have confidence into this. We need to have confidence that this is our guy, and you're going to take us to the AFC East Championship. We need to have confidence in that. We don't need to be guessing what you're going to do. We don't need to be wondering what you're going to do. We need to have confidence in what you're going to get done, and that you could be around. This is clearly a playoff team. We were contending that the last year's AFC East champion, going into the last 2 minutes of the game, we had a chance to win that game. We had a chance to win that game, that playoff game, but we're on a third-string quarterback because somebody can't stay hurt. Somebody can't stay on the field. So not only can you not stay on the field, not only can we not have confidence when you stand on the field, we have to question what you're going to do when you're on the field. This is year 5, man. Come on. We shouldn't be having these issues. The Seahawks don't have that issue with Geno Smith. They're pretty confident. Are you pretty confident what you're going to get out of Geno? Are you pretty confident? You know Geno's not going to be the star of the games. But you know consistently, Geno's going to be able to complete that 7-yard out route. He's going to be able to complete that 15 to 20-yard pass over the middle. He's going to be able to matriculate the ball down the field. He's not going to set Dan Marino. He's not going to break any of Dan Marino's records. But you know he's going to be consistently able to move the ball down the field. Am I wrong, Cleveland?
Yeah, that's a valid point, Cam. I mean, we certainly put some weapons around him. This is a run-first offense, and we don't ask him to do too much. And again, back to your point, I think the Dolphins just need to create that environment, that cocoon that they had last year in that period of time where they were able to get the most out of Tua Tagovailoa. First things first, keep him upright. Let's work on that offensive line. Secondly, let's create that chemistry with those receivers. As you recall, when Tyreek Hill came over last year, you said Tua throws a better ball than Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, come on.
Said it out loud.
I mean, he had 20 million reasons to say that.
Said it out loud. He didn't have to say that. He didn't have to say that.
Please don't tell me you're buying into Tua throws a better ball.
He's played with both quarterbacks. He's played with both quarterbacks. He's a Pro Bowl receiver.
The fans need your honesty, Cleveland. You cut it out. You cut it out. The fans need your honesty right now. You don't tell me you're not buying into Tyreek Holmes after 3 practices. Say Tua throws a better ball than Patrick Mahomes. Tell the fans, Cleveland. Be honest with the fans.
Got to go with what Tyreek Hill is saying. He's the one that's got the ball from both of those guys, and his opinion matters.
Fans, you see what I'm dealing with. You see what I'm dealing with. And so you're going to go with Tyreek Hill when he says he doesn't study the DBs. He looks at Madden too. He looks at their Madden rating and their awareness in Madden, their awareness and speed. You're going to tell me you go with Tyreek Hill on that too, right?
Well, whatever helps him get the advantage to being one of the top receivers in the NFL is who am I to question that?
You see, fans, you see what I'm dealing with right here. The man just told me not only is going to go with Tyreek Hill saying Tua Tagovailoa throws a better ball than Patrick Mahomes. You're going to say that him saying that he goes with Madden for his game prep. You're going to buy into that too.
Well, Madden puts a lot of research into that when they come out with those ratings. It's not this haphazard kind of thing.
Well, you don't even play Madden. You don't even play Madden. You can't.
I don't play Madden.
You can't co-sign what they're doing in the Madden game.
But I do know. You
can't co-sign that.
I do know of the extensive research that goes into the Madden rating. I do know that much.
Yeah, you can't say that with a straight face, Cleveland. You can't say that with a straight face. Man, fans, again, thank you guys for tuning into the Voice of Fans podcast. This is our Sunday special show. Again, we kind of break the rules on the show, just having a little fun, bring you guys some fresh content, if you will. Yeah, as far as my quarterback situation down there in Miami, I want to have some confidence I want to have confidence. That's all I want is confidence that my man's going to stay healthy, that the man's going to be able to produce. And I'm not concerned with we're 5 years in. I'm not concerned whether Justin Herbert's going to stay healthy. I'm not concerned with his health. I'm not concerned with him getting to the playoffs. We know that's going to happen. It's what's going to happen around him. Tua, I'm wondering about his health. I'm wondering if he can lead this team to the playoffs. That's what I'm wondering about. We shouldn't have this concern going into year 5. We shouldn't. And yet we do. I keep missing these Team USA games too, man. Your boy Anthony Edwards puts up 34 points. I keep missing these games. I ain't seen one game. I don't know. Are you keeping up with the Team USA?
I haven't. I think I was just considering them such a joke that I didn't really want to get too vested into it. And, Ant-Man is stepping up and putting that team on his back, apparently.
Yeah, it was. They beat Germany by 8 points. So that was probably a competitive game by all standards, by what you would expect. But I tell you, since their first, I think maybe their second game, I haven't seen much of the Team USA. Cleveland, got a question for you, man. And again, this is Hip Hop 50th anniversary this year. So again, I'm not sure the exact date. I don't even know how they came up with 50, but we're not going to argue that fact. But Cleveland, what was the song? What was the singular song? I'm not asking best song. I'm not asking the best rapper. What was the song that caught your ear the most? What was that song that made you rewind the tape? Because you like me, you as old as me, where you were listening to tape still, either in the tape deck or the boom box. What was the actual name for the boom box? It wasn't the boom box, but what was the radio? What was the portable radio? What was the actual name for the boom box?
I don't know what the actual name was.
Because it wasn't a cassette recorder.
That's always been the moniker for it that I've used. I mean,
it's just something when I was saying that, I'm like, what was it actually called? Because it wasn't the tape recorder. I guess it could have been a tape recorder, but what was the actual name for the boombox? I know fans, chime in if you know the actual name or look it up on Google. Let us know what was the actual name for the boombox. But nonetheless, Cleveland, what was the song that caught your ear the most? That made you rewind the tape, made you not get out of the car? You know the songs that cut when you're on the radio. See, kids, you guys don't know. Like there was a time where you had to hear it on the radio, or you didn't hear it. Either you had the record player, you had the CD, you had the tape, or if the radio played it, you had to stay in your car the extra few minutes to hear the song, to hear the whole song through, because you might not hear it, for another day, right? Or a couple days, depending on your schedule. So the song that made you not want to get out of the car made you rush to Tower Records. I mean, Tower Records was the store back in the day where you can listen to a 10 to 15 second sample of the tape CD. It was tapes again back in the day. Or in Seattle, where we went to go buy music, was Tower Records, right? What was that song, Cleveland? What was that song? And I told you the story last week about Lottie Dottie when I was late to the bus because I was at the house party and I wanted to hear him play Lottie Dottie. I hadn't heard that before, and I wanted to hear it again. Check out my memo by EPMD. When I heard that the first time, I'm like, what is this? Like, hold on. Everybody's here. You Got to Chill was a cut. Everybody wanted to hear You Got to Chill, but when they played Check Out My Demo, check, please listen to my demo. Like, that was a cut. Like, I needed to hear that again. My Adidas. I mean, essentially why I bought that Run DMC tape. My Adidas was a song. Let Me Ride by, I think that was on the Chronic. I'm pretty sure, I'm almost positive it was on the Chronic by Dr. Dre. Like Let Me Ride was one of those that I had to hear 2 or 3 times and back to back to back to back. Like creeping down the back street on D's and my clock because niggas want these. Like, man. What is it? What do you got, Cleveland? You Must Love Me by Jay-Z. When that was on the second album. That was on the second album.
People really gravitated towards that. When I heard that, I mean, I was like, it's a cool song, but I was not. I was not aware of how much people gravitated towards "You Must Love Me."
That was fire. That was fire.
I mean, it is a very deep song.
That was fire. When you talk about arguing with his brother and shooting his brother, bro, that was fire. That was fire.
So
I get around
in the hospital room the next day. You must love me,
man, bro. That was fire, bro. Jay-Z, Reasonable Doubt was just different, though. Reasonable Doubt was. I mean, I was on the East Coast when that came out, and I was like, "Yo, what? Well, yo, well, yeah, yo, okay." I Get Around by Tupac. I mean, Tupac was nice anyway, but I Get Around by Tupac was tight. What was that song, Cleveland? I got another one. Another one, the most recent one that just slapped me in the face. But what was that song for you?
So as we go through it, I think a lot of the song and its correlation to the video kind of jumps out to me. I'm Bad, as I said on the show last time, was one of those things. It was just kind of, the proclamation of who L was, and just kind of just putting that down was something I had to hear. I always loved the Vapors.
The Vapors was, oh my goodness!
With the links.
You got to see the Biz Markie documentary. His wife made the documentary, Fire. His wife. Oh man, the documentary just gets you. But yeah, the Vapors. I mean, again, Biz was different, but the Vapors hit home. The Vapors. I didn't need to see the video though. I didn't need to see that came out 80. That came out 88, 89. I think it was 89. I'm pretty sure it was 89. But yeah, the Vapors. But I mean, You Got What I Need was that was
the comedic. That was the comedic.
That was a banger. That was a banger. He had lyrics in that song too. Biz was tight. Biz was tight, but you got to see that. You got to see that documentary on Biz Markie. But yeah,
and in that same vein, when Big Daddy Kane had his video, and he was in the the double-breasted, not necessarily the sneakers and Adidas, so he had kind of elevated kind of what he was doing with the Stone Cold fresh high top fade, and the 4-fingered rings, and just kind of the BIGDADDYKANE. Just kind of coming out like that. I was like, ooh, okay. So I had to listen to that. So then circa 93, I would say this is when
not to cut you off, but Big Daddy had different styles.
Yeah.
And obviously the 4-finger ring, like as you say, the flat, the high top fade, the fresh one. But he had different styles in it. Because I Go to Work was much different than
I Get the Job Done.
I Get the Job Done was much different than Ain't No Half Stepping. I mean, Big Daddy just had styles, but go ahead.
So then circa 92, and I believe this is probably the first and last time that we ever did this. Had a pretty tight crew of friends that I rolled with. And when Death Certificate came out that summer, there's
no Vaseline,
literally no other tape that we would play. We tried this experiment one time because it just seemed like we were just crazy. Like, man, we haven't taken this out in the deck in weeks. It's been weeks since we tried to listen to something else. Let's try and listen to something else. Okay. So I don't remember what it was. I want to say 3 Times Dope. Maybe we tried to listen to it.
No.
And it was about 15 minutes. Like, yeah, no, back to side one. Back to side one. And yeah, the No Vaseline was the atomic bomb of rap at that point.
The kicker,
He just absolutely obliterated every single member of NWA in their own way, and everything he said was absolutely spot on correct. So
that was Cube, what made Cube so dope, man, is not only that that Easy Does It. Easy Does It. People sleep on that one, on that whole CD. Easy Does It. Because that was essentially, he wrote that for Eazy-E, and that was a whole banger in itself. That whole CD, that everything on that CD, the Easy Does It. If you put that one in, that was another one that you didn't have to take out, and that's how I graded at that time. That's how we were grading whether you were good or not. If we don't have to take your CD, if you don't have to take the tape out or fast forward songs. And Easy Does It, you could just let it play, and then you got the decks that would automatically flip for you. So you didn't take it out. There's an hour you didn't have to touch your deck. Well, Easy Does It, and death certificate too. Yeah, death certificate row. But Cleavon, the last time, I can't say the last time. The most memorable time, the last most memorable moment. That I think, the last most memorable moment that I was in the car and I heard this song and I couldn't get out of the car till the song was over was Hi, My Name Is. Eminem's Hi, My Name Is. Hi. I'm like, whoa, hold up. Hold up. Hold up. I'm not even going to recite his lyrics because I'd be doing him a disservice. But that was the last time. It was just a beat, number one. And then his crazy lyrics and just the shit what he was saying just was so off. How My Name Is, that was the last time I was like, I got to sit here for a minute. I just got to sit here and absorb what I'm listening to for a minute. And just absorb it and listen to it. I was like, okay. Whoever this is, I got to go get it. And then I heard he was with Dre, and then that was, case closed. It was over. Door was closed from then on. But How My Name Is the last. That's the last moment where I was like, I got to hear all of this. I can't get out of the car until I hear all of this. That was the last moment for me. What was the best rap concert you've been to, Cleavon? Did you go to a lot of concerts? I've been to a lot of concerts. I can't say I've been to a fair number of concerts. I'll say that. There were several concerts I missed. One that I hated that I missed was Prince played 30 days at the Forum in Inglewood.
Oh, wow.
And I lived 6 blocks from Inglewood, and I just kept saying, I'll go next week. I'll go next week. I'll go next week. And next thing, so by the time I know it, this is his final show. And then I went out to a movie with a chick, and then I never saw Prince at the Forum in Inglewood. He played 30 consecutive days. It might have been 31 days. And I'm like, I'm ashamed I missed. Not one day I go to Prince, and he was right freaking down the street from me. I hated that I missed that. But I've been to a fair number of concerts, Cleavon, and that was not rap concert. But what was again, we're giving a tribute to hip hop 50th anniversary. We did this last week, and I got another question about hip hop for you. But what was the best rap concert you've been to? Rap hip hop concert you've been to? The best one.
The one that I remember first, most notably, because I was just, I guess, pleasantly surprised, is that Kumo D put on a crazy good show. Wow, I was not expecting all that, and it was like, because he was at the time battling with L, and not really, it's like, I'll go, because I believe there were some other headliners that were on the show as well, so it was a pretty good show, but he clearly was a performer, so I was surprised with that one.
Okay.
At number 3, I gotta say the Lauryn Hill Nas concert was pretty spectacular. Although, Lauren has a tendency to be, on her own time. When she does get on the mic, it is something special. There's not a whole bunch of people that really want to get on the mic and battle with Lauren. And then you throw in, the classic Nas Escobar, and it's just, it was a fantastic show. I saw Wu-Tang, but Meth wasn't there. There's always one missing. So Meth wasn't there. So it was a good show, but not the most spectacular show.
Not a funny story about Wu-Tang, but
because when you're missing, your cleanup hitter, it's kind of like this show is kind of missing something. But it was still a great show. And like I said in the last show, I believe just the timing of the confluence of events of when I was the age I was, and as we were just talking about a tape that never left the deck for weeks at a time, the Death Certificate concert with Scarface and Dub C has to be number one.
Really, I see. I love Ice Cube, and I just went on and told you about what I think it is. His concerts I didn't really.
It was really not really about what he was doing. It was really just more the energy of that demographic of people being in there, all like reciting the lyrics. It was very electric in there.
I saw Ice Cube. I saw this was a very memorable concert. I saw the Up in Smoke tour. I think this is circa 2001. Eminem he didn't just hit, but he was still new. He opened up for Dre, Snoop, Cube. Dre, Snoop. The Chronic was brand new. The Chronic wasn't 3 months old. Dre, Snoop, Cube. I want to say Exhibit was there. That's Up in Smoke. Up in Smoke. It was smoking. It was smoke. That wasn't my best concert though. That wasn't the best concert. That was not the best concert. The best concert I've been to, just overall, everything included, was Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson Velvet Rope Tour 1998 that was the best concert I've ever been to. But in hip hop, in regards to hip hop, I'll tell you the story. So Wu-Tang Clan, METHOD, man, METHO. So that song was banging. That song was on the radio banging. So they're like, okay, Wu-Tang is going to be at this David's nightclub in Virginia. I was in Virginia at the time. Okay, I got to go see this. And it was funny because at this time, I'm 21, 22 at this time. But I was in Virginia. And this is, maybe if you can answer this too. I'm not sure how many times this happened to you, but I'm in Virginia and the music scene's a little different. But I hear, what's the 411, right? I hear what's the 411. And I hear, that's when what's the 411 was, it might have been a year old, but I hear it's still playing, it's still hot because all the lead singles were still hot, right? And I didn't know it was one person that had all of these singles, but I didn't know it was one person. I didn't know when I heard Notorious B.I.G. and then you hear B.I.G. and then you hear Biggie Smalls. I didn't know initially that it was one person because I'm hearing these cuts from you heard this from Notorious B.I.G. Then you hear this from Biggie Smalls. And I'm like, okay, these are two different people. They can't be the same person having these bangers like this. Obviously, we realized who it was. And that happened with Wu-Tang Clan. Like, you hear Cream. I didn't know that the same group that came out with METHOD, man, and then everything else they came out with. So it was interesting, I should say, that there were just so many hits on one group had so many hits. So METHOD, man, I was going to the concert to see that performance. So I get there It wasn't really. It wasn't. It wasn't T-Mobile Stadium. It wasn't Lumen Field. It wasn't what are the Climate Pledge Arena. It was like the Esquire Club. It was a nightclub. It was a lounge, a lounge that was new. So it wasn't a big hall, right? Because they wasn't out like that. They were out. The song music was on the radio, but it wasn't a huge venue. So I go there, right? So it's Virginia. It's wintertime. Everybody got on. I got on my big puffy, thick ass coat, right? Go into the bathroom, and as I'm taking a piss, here comes about 8 niggas coming here talking and gang and shit. Well, I'm taking somebody's mom or somebody's daughter's coming home with me tonight. Blah blah blah. They talking to gang and shit, and I'm just like, okay, I got my back turned because I'm pissing, and I turn around, and then 3 of them is rolling up. Right? It was like, okay, I don't know who these cats are. I'm like, okay, hold on. Let me go wash my hands. I don't know. Typically, I don't wash my hands because I don't when I'm in the bathroom. But let me wash my hands. Let me see. Give these guys some time to roll up. Let's spark up, right? Pass it around. I'll be there in the session. So as I'm washing my hands, they roll up. Nobody has a lighter. Reach in my pocket. Oh. I just happen to have my lighter right here. Right? So, Gene, as these guys are talking to gang and shit, right? I was like, well, I pull out my pocket.
This is not like the How High, man. Please tell me this is not a How High moment.
I pull out my lighter. Boom. Oh, dog got a lighter. Oh, dog has a lighter. So they pass me the blunt. Spark up the lighter. I spark up. Right? Boom. Spark up. Pass it around. They give me the next one. Spark up, pass it around. They give me the next one. Spark up, pass it around. Now we done been in the bathroom 15 minutes. 15 minutes, right? And smoking with somebody I don't have no idea who these guys are. They just talking to gang of shit. I join in. I'm talking shit with them. And then, okay, I didn't talk my shit with them. They didn't talk their shit. Now we done. Blunts is burnt out. I leave. They come out leaving. Everybody's laughing, giggling. The room is just nobody really can come into the room, right? Because we done smoked up the whole room. So I go to the bar, grab my drink. I was there by myself, by the way, so it was just kind of funny. I go to the bar, get a drink. Dancing around, mingling and shit. Now I'm faded, right? Now I'm faded. And then all of a sudden they start playing a song. Cut your what? Inspect your deck.
Protect your neck.
Protect your neck. Protect your neck. Now look, listen, these niggas. I was in the bathroom, and now on stage. I'm like, oh my goodness. I had no idea who these guys were, and now they on stage performing. And then you hear Method Man do his thing, and Cream comes on. It was crazy. I'm like, yo, I was just in the bathroom with these guys. That was funny. I found that hysterical. Again, it was a small venue. It just the energy. You talk about the energy in the crowd, energy in that room. It was a small. It was again. It wasn't no stadium. It was just a small lounge. But they blew it up. They blew it out. And then the most memorable night was just. It was just like I didn't know who these cats were who ended up on stage singing, rapping. I went to go see the time I see Puff and Biggie Small, Notorious B.I.G., whatever you want to call them. I went to go see them. That was the reason I'm going to this show. But also on this show, they had Zhané performed. I was not living in Virginia. I'm not a fan of the go-go music that was prevalent in D.C. area. I was not a fan of that. That was a step up against what they were playing in Florida. In Miami, that Booty Doo-Doo Brown, which I just can't stand. But the go-go music was a step up from that, but I didn't like that either. Until I heard DJ Kool with the and is clear. Let me clear my throat. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This wasn't an arena. Norfolk State Arena, or their basketball arena, whatever it was. That was, I say Janet was the best show I've seen. Eminem Mariana probably was, well, no, Eminem Mariana probably was third. That was the fourth best performance I've seen. DJ Kool in his little 20-minute set that he played. Unfreaking believable. The crowd, he had the crowd moving. He did the thing where he turned the lights on. The lights would go off and on. Where he had the lights going, the stadium lights. I don't know how they did it. Clearly, it was choreographed. But that performance, I went to go see Biggie and Puff. That outperformed them guys. Like, I was excited to see Biggie and Puff. Like, when I left there, I was like, this DJ Kool. I didn't go buy a CD. But I was like, I would never disrespect Go-Go. I would never disrespect him when I hear Go-Go music again. Because before, I didn't want to hear it at all, period, regardless. I heard that show. I was like, oof. Okay, oof. The best rap concert I've been to, it was scheduled, was MC Lyte. I feel like I told this story before. It was MC Lyte. Excuse me, it was Outkast opening for MC Lyte and KRS-One. That was the schedule. Outkast, MC Lyte, KRS-One. Pretty okay. That's it. Outkast had been out. Southern Playalistic, California Funky Music. Southern Playalistic had been out a couple months. Like, they weren't huge. That had been out though. It had been out on the radio. It was like, yeah, I want to go see Outkast. I'll go see Outkast. Yes. But it was in a Hampton Stadium. Hampton had just built their basketball arena, brand new basketball arena. This might have been the first performance or the first thing happening at this thing. So it was kind of tricky to get to though. You could see it from the freeway, but you had to take some back road to get to it. So it was kind of tricky to get to. So by the time we get there, the show's supposed to start at 7 a.m. Black CPT time. So they don't open the doors till 7:30. We're probably number 50 in line. I'm tripping because the show's supposed to start at 7. We're there. I'm there at 6:45, but still not a lot of people were there. And the doors didn't open till after it was 7:30 by the time the doors open. Doors open, okay. Outkast come out and perform. I think they started, their show was supposed to start at 8 o'clock. They performed. MC Lyte was supposed to come in at 9, but she said after Outkast do their thing for the 75 people that's in the building, MC Lyte was like, there's not enough people in the building for me to perform. Like, we'll give it some time. She's supposed to go on at 9. I'm going to give it some time before I come out, but there's not enough people here for me to perform. We're like, what? So, we mingled around, and it's like, if you can leave and get your money back, or you can stay. And KRS-One said he's going to come on, but he's not coming on until 10:30 when he's supposed to come on. So it's 9 o'clock. So what do? You can leave and get your money back, or you can stick around, but he's not going to perform to 9:30. All right, so then we was just, they weren't selling alcohol. It was on the college campus. So we just there kicking it till KRS-One come on. I was surprised. I was like, MC Lyte's not coming on? Like, MC Lyte, everybody's dissing MC Lyte, which I thought was fair. But KRS-One comes on. And he's like, so I had general admission tickets, which was already on the floor. And there was no chairs. It was just standing on the floor, right? But then you could buy seats in the arena. In the second level, third level, you could buy seats in the arena, which were, I don't know, $10. I think I probably paid $20 for my general admission ticket. KRS-One was like, yo, everybody, turn on the lights when he comes out. Turn on the lights. All you people up top, come on down on the floor. Everybody come on the floor. What do you want? Nobody up top. Everybody come down on the floor. I don't care what you pay for your ticket. I don't care. Come on, everybody come on the floor. I want everybody right in front of the stage. Like, come on down. Yo, come on down. Everybody come on down. He did this for 5 minutes to everybody get down. He's like, I'm gonna tell you guys a story. I'm gonna tell you guys a story of hip hop. And then he started when he was in diapers damn near. And just started about when he first heard music and he first heard hip hop and he first got into hip hop and I think he told us his first rhyme. And he was like, this means so much to me because of this. And it's so easy to do, like everybody should do it. And I'm gonna show you how easy it is. Yo, give me a word. Give me a word. You give me a word, you give me a word, you give me a word. So then he just started rapping and including all these words, right? That the crowd just gave him, freestyling. He was freestyling and just incorporating all these words that they were giving, whether it was money, payday, Hampton University, concert, and he just incorporated all this into a rap. Then he started the dee-dee-da-dee-da, dee-dee-da-dee-day, this is why I rap, it's for you today. And he's just playing with music, playing with the words. No music. A lot of this is a cappella, no music. A lot of this. He played his hits, but a lot of this was just off the dome, freestyling, just having a mic and being an MC. KRS-One, man. I already like KRS-One, but after that show, like his wordplay, his ability to grab the crowd and mold the group, there's nothing like it. Zero like it. It was just so phenomenally awesome. KRS-One was. That was the best rap concert I've been to. I haven't seen you see KRS-One in your neighborhood, go see KRS-One. Friend who are you, young, small, tall, or old, go see KRS-One. He will put on a hell of a show. Is without question. Without question, Cleavon. Last thing, Cleavon. I have my list right here. I got a list. I was going to ask you for your top 10. I got a list, Cleavon. I got about 27 names right here. And I'm going to break them down in tiers for you. And you tell me the tiers of these guys. And they're all nice. We talked about Kane. We talked about Big Daddy Kane. Nice. Fabulous. I think he's one of the more effortless. Him and Mace, I don't have Mace on this list, but Mace and Fabulous, when I hear both of these guys, Fabulous is most doper than Mace. But when I hear them both, it sounds effortless to me. When I hear them, it sounds like really effortless for them to kind of create words and rhymes. What do you think? Do you agree with that assessment?
Yes, and I've never really been a huge Mace fan. I actually only have one song that I really actually like from Mace. So
I mean, get around the world and not yeah. Mace,
that wasn't
his stuff again. Effortless. I'm not saying he's the best, but when you hear him, it sounds so easy when he does it. It just sounds like he really. I don't know if that's good. He don't put any work into it, but Fabulous. Anything he says and Fabulous is dope. It just sounds when coming off the tongue. It just like it sounds effortless. Those are the words I got for him. Guru, Gangstar, just to get a rap. Guru has some stories. He was dope. Coogee rap, dope. Lil Wayne probably be in my second tier. I shouldn't have put him here in this tier here. Lil Wayne probably in the second tier. Black Thought is dope. Tip that's another good show. He was another good show. He puts on another good show. Andre 3000. Dope lyric, a little eccentric, but he got lyrics. Busta Rhymes. I appreciate Busta's growth because Leaders of the New School was kind of wild, but he stayed kind of wild. But then he got better. He got better. I like Busta. Q-Tip, I think he from producing, his rapping is kind of all in one. He reminds me a lot of Pharrell. He reminds me a lot of because they do a lot of producing, right, and rapping. DOC. I mean, even though he only had one that one album, right? No One Can Do It Better. I thought DOC was dope. E40. I mean, his growth. I like that he never really changed his style. He was back in what was The Click. The Click. Like he was like using big words and was eccentric, if you would, for the West Coast. His ability to use big words and try to create his own language was dope. But he hasn't stopped doing that. He still trying to do that, right? Even sometimes that shit don't work, but he makes it fit. I mean, that's E40. So I like that he really never changed his style. Nipsey I thought was dope. MC Ren I think was overrated. LL or not overrated, excuse me, underrated. MC Ren was underrated. LL, I mean, he was using GOAT, the greatest of all time, before anybody ever really said it. I didn't really ever think he was the GOAT, but he was saying that before anybody ever used that vernacular, right? Tech Nine. I mean, I don't know what you think about Tech Nine. Tech Nine is like Andre 3000, a little eccentric, but he has some lyrics, right? Tech Nine, I thought. Give me what's your thoughts on? I gave you 2 tiers before I get to the top 10. What's your thoughts on those tiers? Who did anybody I left out? Anybody I leave out on this list? Actually,
depends on your interpretation. I thought Tech Nine and DOC reaching a little, especially considering DOC's body of work is not really that extensive. If you're saying that Dre 3000 is in the top tier, I think he's a little underrated. His ability to switch styles and kind of say things and kind of tell a story.
You think he's underrated?
I think if he's not in your top tier, yeah.
I mean, I had these are 27 names that I have here. I didn't get to my top 10, but those are 27 names that are second, third tier, in my opinion. Okay. Lil Wayne is top tier. Yeah, Lil Wayne, I mentioned him earlier. I mentioned Lil Wayne earlier than I should have. I'm not, because he's selling $900 tickets.
So when I listen to that list, I think Busta, L, and 3000 don't belong in the same conversation with those other people that you named.
Tip, Coogee Rap, Guru, Fabulous, Big Daddy Kane.
Those 3 belong in a tier higher than the rest of those people that you named.
Oof, okay. Wow. Okay, he says I'm reaching with DOC. He says I'm reaching with E40. I'm reaching with E40.
No, I said Tech Nine. E40 has it's created a culture East Bay.
So MC Ren, is that a reach to have him in top?
Yeah,
top 27. MC Ren's a reach.
That's a reach.
I don't know if you heard enough MC Ren.
Heard plenty.
NWA.
Heard plenty of Ren.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so give me those names again. You said LL, Busta, and
LL,
Andre
Busta,
3000
and
do not
Dre
belong with
3000.
Black Thought. Do not belong on the same line of Black Thought, Coogee Rap, Guru.
If I was bringing three, I would
Q-Tip.
bring those three. And Black Thought is on standby, and he's ready to go. He's got his bag. He really is.
Q-Tip. Okay. I mean, it's fair enough.
And I love Q-Tip. I love a lot of those guys that you named, but just the ability to flow. Yeah, those other three are about that.
A lot of these are subjective. So again, okay. So when the tier 2 because tier 1, I'm just gonna say is my top 10, but tier 2, tier 3, anybody I'll leave off the list.
I haven't heard your tier 1, so it's hard to say.
Okay. Would anybody you thought should have been outside of that top 10 that should have some consideration here? Whatever your top 10 is.
Have to hear your top 10.
Because I give you my top 10, then you were going to be focused on top 10. You follow what I'm saying? So
I can already tell you're gonna have some holes. So I'm just
have some holes. He says.
Yeah.
I think this list is pretty solid. Actually, I think it's pretty solid. So top 10, and I'm gonna go 10 to 5 for you, and then I'm gonna ask you the same question again. Anybody I leave off this list? Number 10 is Nas. I got number 10 Nas at 10. Nas makes my top 10 list. I got Rakim at number 9. And 7 or 8 are interchangeable. 7 or 8 are interchangeable. I can't put one ahead of the other. I can't, and I don't know if I'm being unfair because they did a lot of work together. I just can't put one ahead of the other. But it's Red and Meth. Method Man, Red Man, they got 7 and 8, and I can't separate them. I don't know. I can't separate them. I'm struggling to separate them. What's your thoughts there?
Redman's a better lyricist, but I see where you're going with that.
Redman is a better lyricist. I can't separate them. I mean, it might be because they did a lot of work together. So that might be a little unfair, but I can't separate them. I'm gonna cheat. This is cheating here. I'm admitting, fans, that I'm cheating. Whoever's listening to this list, I'm admitting right now that I'm cheating because I got a 6.5. I got a 6.5 here, and the 6.5 is Jay-Z. Jay-Z's at 6.5, and I can't put him ahead of Jada, and I can't put him ahead of Jada. Period. I can't go any further than that. I can't put him ahead of Jada. I have Jada at 6. So I gave you, and I know it's cheating, but I gave you 6 through 10 with a 6.5. Cleveland, go ahead. What's your thoughts there?
What is your rationale for not being able to put Jay-Z ahead of Jadakiss?
Jadakiss is a dope lyricist, period. Jadakiss is a better rapper. Jadakiss is better than Jay-Z. Now, if you want to go longevity, most record sales, historical factor, like Jay-Z has a better footprint on hip hop music, but Jadakiss is a better rapper than Jay-Z.
Okay.
Right or wrong? Do you disagree? You're welcome to disagree. All of this is subjective. This is my list.
I just think that the body of work for Jay is a little too extensive. Jada is the master of the mixtape, and I call him perhaps the greatest track stealer in the history of hip hop. Like if he's on your track, it's suddenly
Miss Mecca. We appreciate your
suddenly is his track. You know what I'm saying? He's one of those people.
wait, what he said? Give me that boo beat, fool. It's a full-time jack move. You said he just jacking people's beats?
No, I mean like when you put him on your track, it was supposed to be a collaboration, and then it just becomes it was his track. So he's one of those track stealers like that.
Yeah. So I mean, again, if you want to separate this is all subjective. This is for somebody grabbing a microphone and rocking a mic and have better lyrics. I cannot put Jay-Z ahead of Jadakiss. I can't do it, and so I'm cheating because Jay-Z deserved to be in the top 10. So that was my way of fitting him into the top 10. Is kind of making a 6.5. So to round out my top 5, and kind of like Method Man, Redman, this is kind of cheating. I'm not 4 or 5, 5 and 4, however you want to put it. I got Big and Pop. They're both competing for that 4th and 5th slot. I'm interested to hear your feedback there, because if you're talking about body of work, I mean, Big only had 2 albums, right? So by what you like to talk about, body of work, and we can go on to Terrell Davis's body of work. Like you saying he shouldn't be a Hall of Famer, Big shouldn't be a Hall of Famer because his body of work. I mean, if you're keeping the same logic. However, I got Big and Pop. I mean, that body of work was so exquisite, and then plus he worked on some mixtapes, etc. I got Big, Pop, Big at 4 and 5. And depending on the day, depending on how I feel, depending on what I heard this morning, my top 3, and I can argue that any one of these guys can be number 1, and I think they're interchangeable as well. I got KRS-One, Ice Cube, and Eminem. I can argue that Eminem is the greatest to do it ever. I can argue that Ice Cube, from Easy Does It, Death Certificate, his NW Straight Outta Compton, I can argue that he's the greatest to do it ever. KRS-One, because his longevity, because of what he meant to hip hop, how he changed the game. You're saying I'm not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I'm sorry, I lied. I mean, I can argue that KRS-One is the best to ever do it. So I can make an argument. Again, this is kind of cheating. 1 through 3, KRS-One, Ice Cube, Eminem, Big and Pac, 4 and 5. I got Jada at number 6. I got Jay-Z at 6.5. I got Red and Method Man, Redman for 7 and 8. They're interchangeable, I believe. I got Rakim at number 9, and I got Nas at number 10. Cleveland, what's your argument? Who would I leave off the list?
Don't recall if you said Snoop ever on any of your tiers.
No, come on, stop. Snoop can't compete with these guys.
So Snoop's not top 10?
No, absolutely not. Snoop ain't top. I got 27 guys and didn't name Snoop. 27. He's top 30, and that's popularity. So Snoop, come on. No, he's not. No, he's not. Okay. Give me a lyric that twisted you up from Snoop. Did he make you music? Yes. Did he have Dr. Dre working with him? Absolutely. Not a lyricist like that. No, I got love for Snoop. I'm not hating on Snoop, but he's not a top as a lyricist. Come on, Snoop can't fuck with Big Daddy Kane, Fabulous Guru, Kool G Rap, Lil Wayne, Black Thought, Tip, Andre 3000, Busta, Q-Tip, DLC. Absolutely not. Did he make good music that we love to bang and rock to? Gin and Juice is a cut. I mean, he got cuts, but he can't fuck with any of these guys. E40, Nipsey Ren. I mean, if you want to say Tech 9 is overrated on my list, if you want to say MC Ren is overrated on my list, if you want to say DLC is overrated on my list, you know what? You can take either one of these guys and put Snoop in. Hey, come on, stop it. Get out of here. Scarface, that is somebody that was left off my list. Scarface was left off my list. Shamefully. Oh, I don't know where I put Scarface. He should have been in that second tier probably. Scarface is a good call. Lil Wayne, she's going hard on me. Miss Mika's going hard on me. Lil Wayne, as I mentioned him too early. He's not. I don't have Wayne in top 10. So that second tier, top 15, 11 to 20 probably. Lil Wayne's not my top 10 though. Who did I leave off? Scarface is an omission. I got you. SB stays on the show. You keep pointing out good shit. SB top 10 is an omission. I admit that. I'll admit that he's an omission. If I have to go 11 through 20, and I'm being told that MC Ren, Tech Nine, and DOC is overrated. I mean, he fits into 11 through 25, maybe, I guess. Scarface. I mean, the Fuck Faces was a cut. Fuck Faces that was another song. But again, I had tapes by then, so I could rewind that and hear that when I needed to. That wasn't coming on the radio.
So, I mean, for example, is this just solo artists or these groups or?
I mean, however you want to put it. 8-Ball MJG, yes or no mission.
I mean,
yes, it depends on where you are.
Run
Absolutely.
DMC anywhere kind of in your thoughts? Or
I mean, Run DMC there.
Is EPMD in your thoughts anywhere? Too Short in your thoughts anywhere? I mean, I don't. Your criteria is like kind of all over the place. So it's like, okay, was it just groups?
I mean, it's not my criteria. Just Too Short.
I mean, if we're talking about lyricists, I mean, is Razzcast make your cut, man?
EPMD. That's a good call there. Too Short, EPMD, Razzcast. I don't think this goes on the list.
Okay.
Do you have a top 10? That's my top 10. Do you have a top 10?
I think that hip hop has gotten to a point that the top 10 is so subjective that it's
very subjective.
It's very similar to your top 10 in NBA or your top 10 in any sport, in any list. It gets very congested and convoluted. And
somebody else said,
what is it you're trying to say? Is it just straight lyrics? Is it
Ms.
influence
Mika
on the culture? Is it She said
8-Ball MJG. Yes, 8-Ball MJG. Yes, this is definitely a regional thing, so we know where you're at. But MC8, you talked about earlier a tape that you couldn't pull out you couldn't take out the tape deck.
I mean, I didn't
blue
hear...
tape. The blue tape, that blue MC8 tape from MC8, and what was the group? MC8 was a rapper. I can't think of the
yeah, that's
the group. Compton Most Wanted. Compton's Most Wanted.
Yeah, no.
That didn't come out for a long time.
No.
That didn't come out.
MC8 is not making anybody's list. I didn't hear DJ Quick either. What are your thoughts on the Quick stir?
DJ Quick, producer, definitely great producer. He had cuts, definitely great producer. I mean, again, so now we're at 30 because you want Cube in the list. Not excuse me, you want Too Short on the list. You mentioned Snoop. Snoop is still, now that you're pushing Snoop way back down to.
Okay, well, yeah. You and Snoop had a personal altercation about something. I mean, we can.
Snoop is cool.
Clearly, you and your disdain for Snoop.
Snoop is cool. I was in it. Snoop and Dre
incredibly weird, actually. I'm mad that you're naming that don't even have like a CD.
I'm mad that Snoop. I spent.
He's got like 15. It's like I don't understand.
I'm mad at. Well, come on, Snoop is popularity, bro. I'm mad at Snoop and I'm mad at Dre that I spent 12 hours on a
set for say that then. Say you're still
on a set for a video
about the
and they use and they use 0.5 seconds of me on the video. I'm mad at that.
Okay.
But that don't stop the love. That don't stop the love. Kendrick Lamar. Oof.
I think Kendrick is in that. Sure.
That's another omission. SB, okay, I'm gonna stop putting you up there. SB, you keep calling me out like this, but that's a quality omission. That's a quality omission right there. SB called me out twice now. And Miss Mika's Lil Wayne, she wants Lil Wayne higher on the list too. I mean, again, you're right. It's definitely all subjective. But KRS One, Ice Cube, Eminem. Their top 1, 2, 3. Big Pac 4 and 5. I got Jada at 6. I got Jay-Z at 7. Method Man, Redman. I don't know that. I don't know that there's room for Kendrick, Too Short, 8 Ball, MJG, MC8. I don't know that there's room for Ken in this top 10. I got Rakim and Nas. I don't know who I take out. Who would you say I take out of this list? Who would you say? Let me ask you that question. Who do I take off of the top 10, off of my top 10 quasi 11, to put in Kendrick, Scarface, Lil Wayne? I don't know that there's room for these guys. Who you mentioned? There's definitely not room for Snoop. Who else you mentioned? Razzcast. Come on, get out of here. Who do I take off of this list? Out of this top 10, who would you take out to put somebody in?
I think your top 10 is decent. You could argue those 10.
Who would you take out to put somebody else in? That's the question. That's a question for you two guys listening. Who would you take out of this top 10?
In reverse, it was
Nas, Rakim, Method Man, Redman, Jay-Z, Jadakiss, Big, Pac, KRS-One, Ice Cube, Eminem. Who comes off of that list for Kendrick Lamar, for Scarface, for Too Short? You brought up Snoop, Pimp C, 8-Ball, MJG, Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne. I think it would be between Jada and Meth, probably. Oh my goodness. I'm not really sure Method Man is a top 10 rapper of all time, man. That sounds awfully high.
Oh my goodness. Method Man is not a top 10 rapper, Cleveland?
Of all time? I don't think so. And I love Wu-Tang.
Wait, you say Jada and Meth? Like Jada's not a top 10 rapper of all time?
Those two on your list are the most questionable top 10 rappers. In my humble opinion. So let's be clarify this. You're saying they come off the list? They come out of the top 10 for Kendrick Lamar and Scarface? Is that what you're telling me? I think that those would be interchangeable parts, yeah.
No. Okay. All right. See. Clarify this, SB. Meth and Red, Jada come off the top 10. Oof, I don't know about that. Nobody, I'm not discounting what Lil Wayne is, who he is. Like, I'm not discounting that. I just don't know. Again, sweetheart. I mean, come on. What's been done? Lil Wayne has been done by no.
And I didn't hear Kanye. I didn't hear Kanye.
Kanye's not a top 10 rapper. Stop it. Stop it.
There are so many. Okay, I was just about to hit the off button. There are so many rappers on your list that Kanye would destroy that I can't even begin to start.
Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, okay.
I'm not talking about his bipolar personality. I'm not talking about all that. I'm talking about Kanye's ability on the mic. And we won't even get into his super production stuff because that's irrelevant.
I'm not talking about production.
I'm the
music.
Mic, yeah.
I'm not producing. I'm not talking about
Kanye's way up there, my dude. I'm not necessarily throwing him in the top 10, but there's a whole bunch of your second and third tier that needs to go backwards. For sure.
I would make Tech Nine, MC Ren, and DOC. To your point, I would make room for Kanye in there. He's not. I don't have. Come on, cut it out. As a top 10 rapper of all time. Come on.
Like I said, he certainly should be in your 20. I didn't say make room for him in the 10. I said, yeah. Tell him, Miss Mecca. Yeah. For real. Put the shy on his back, man. I mean, does Twister even have a career if it's not for Kanye? I don't know.
I mean, for that case, I could put Common on the list if you just want to talk about.
You really could.
Kanye.
Common deserves to be in your second tier.
Common should be on the list.
Okay, so you see, we're starting to expose a few of the holes, man. Yeah, it's not a whole lot. Your list is not bad, my dude. But I mean, there's no Kanye, there's no Common. Those down south would argue, man, does Ludacris deserve a spot on your 2 or 3
in a tier. So do I have to come back with a
you
top?
don't even have Snoop on either of these tiers. I mean,
do I have to come back with a top 40 next week? Do I have to do a top 40?
No, you just have to.
I'm giving you guys. I'm giving you guys now. We're an hour and a half into the show. I'm giving you guys a top 40.
You just have to give your list a once over. That's all.
I'm giving you guys a top 40 next week since you guys are bashing me for. There were
some omissions.
Scarface.
There were some omissions, and they're just coming to light.
I admit, Scarface was an omission. Lil Wayne, I mentioned him way too early, Ms. Mika. She's killing me over here. I mentioned Lil Wayne too early, so I'm gonna give you guys a top 40 next week. That's my commitment to the Voice of the Fans. I'm gonna be giving you guys a top 40 next week. You guys stick around for the top 40. I want to give you a shout out to everybody who participated in the show. Thank you guys for being a part of the show. As always, we do this for you guys, man. We do this for just content and just to have some fun. So I want to, again, applaud yourself for being a part of the show. SB, Miss Mika, we appreciate you guys for being a part of the show. We got my man from Chile chiming in. There's been no Chargers talk. Again, we want to see what Justin Herbert. I've been told NFL preseason means nothing. Palamonte. I've been told NFL preseason means nothing. I don't know what my fantasy football team is going to look like this year because I've watched 0 preseason games. So that's usually where I pick up some gems and some rookies that
preseason games. Oh,
I pick up some. I look at the rookies. That's where you find the gems, the rookies.
And conversely, perform. Fans, I look at the injury report to see who's actually going to be healthy and who's not, with regards to who I select and. How much playing time they're going to get. Those are important things.
We'll see. Okay, I got you, Rebecca. Thank you, Ms. Mecca.
Rebecca. Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying that. Again, thank you guys for tuning into the show. Next week, I commit to you fans. In this year of hip hop celebrating the 50th, I will bring to you a top 40. You guys already heard the top 10. You already heard the top 10. I'm not sure that that's changing, but I will specify the rest of these 27 I have in here. And again, maybe Snoop makes the top 30. Maybe Snoop well, no, he doesn't make the top 30 because you guys gave me Scarface, Too Short.
And fans, maybe he will reveal, other than having to be out in the cold in the wee hours of the morning, what his disdain is for Snoop Doggy Dogg. There's more to this story. Clearly,
there's no disdain. I like Snoop.
There's more to this story.
I got love for Snoop,
and I know that you feel the same way that I do about this. Like, wow, there's something to this.
Ninja, where you been, man? They beat me up for my top 10.
The question is Snoop Dogg does not appear on Cam's top 40 all-time rapper list. And he says this with a straight face, but they won't say the reason that he's not on it, other than he's just popular, like he's MC Hammer or something, just a bubblegum rapper. I don't really understand.
he's a little above MC Hammer.
Martha Stewart friendship.
He's a little above MC Hammer.
Nobody. It's weird. It's
he's
weird.
A little.
But you want to explain why? But clearly, it's a personal thing.
I'm not taking shots. At Snoop. Not at all. Me and Snoop is cool. He's just not my top 30. That's all. Fans, once again, not
even your top 40. Okay.
Well, we'll see about that. Fans, tune in next week and you'll see where Snoop is on my list. Thank you guys for tuning into this week of the Sunday special. It's gone a little longer than anticipated, but it's been a fun show. Give yourself a round of applause. And give Cleavon a round of applause for participating and hanging here with me. Maybe Cleavon will have a top 10 list of his own next week. We'll see about that.
Next Sunday, we'll have to see.
Nate with the chime in. Thank you, Ninja. We'll see you guys next week.
Okay.
We'll see you guys next week.
He put Nate